legends in the making. Scoreboard pressure, hearts beat breaking. Sideline chatter, debates run deep, but the grind don't stop, no time for sleep. Did you see that game?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Did You See That Game? I'm Anthony.
And I'm Chiffon, and welcome back. Sunday Night Football. Like, what the hell just happened in Buffalo, Anthony?
Chiffon, I'm still processing this Ravens-Bills game. Like, I went to grab a snack with 5 minutes left thinking Baltimore had this thing wrapped up, 40-25, right? Come back and, what? The Bills won 41-40? How does that even happen?
Dude, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you literally cannot make this stuff up. The Ravens had a 15-point lead with under 5 minutes to go, and they just completely collapsed. Buffalo scored 16 unanswered points, Anthony. 16.
And you know what the crazy part is? Like, this wasn't even supposed to be a close game based on how it was going. Lamar Jackson was having a great night, 14 of 19 passing, around 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, plus he ran for 70 yards. Derrick Henry was absolutely destroying Buffalo's defense.
Oh my God, Henry was a monster. 169 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's the kind of performance that usually wins you games, you know? But then, that fumble, though.
Right? That fumble was like, it was the turning point. You could just feel the momentum shift completely. And it wasn't just Henry. Zay Flowers had 143 receiving yards and a touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins caught a TD. Like, everybody was contributing for Baltimore, but when it mattered most,
they choked. I hate to say it, but they absolutely choked. And can we talk about the play calling for a second? Like, I'm watching this game and I'm thinking, okay, you have a 15-point lead. You have Derrick Henry, who's been running all over them all night. And you're gonna, get conservative? Really?
That's what I don't understand about John Harbaugh sometimes. Like, you've got this incredible offense that's been moving the ball at will, and then you turtled up. The analysts were roasting them for it, and honestly, they deserved it. You can't play not to lose when you've got weapons like that.
And speaking of John Harbaugh, Anthony, I read this stat and I couldn't believe it. This was Baltimore's 8th loss under him when they had a win probability over 90%. 8th. That's not bad luck. That's a pattern.
Wait, 8th? Are you serious? Wow, that's actually kind of damning. Like, once or twice, okay, stuff happens. Football's crazy. But 8 times? That suggests there's something fundamentally wrong with how they handle these situations. Maybe it's the play calling, maybe it's the mindset, I don't know, but
it's definitely something. And you know what else happened in this game that we haven't even talked about yet? The whole thing with Lamar and the fan. Did you see that?
Oh, man, yeah. So apparently some Bills fans slapped Lamar's helmet and Hopkins' helmet too, and Lamar he shoved the guy. Which, like, I get it, you know? You're already frustrated because the game's slipping away, some drunk fan puts his hands on you. I probably would have done the same thing, honestly.
Right? Like, I'm not saying it was the right thing to do, but I totally understand the impulse. The fan got ejected, obviously, and Lamar said afterwards that he regretted it and would handle it better next time. But honestly, in the heat of the moment, with everything falling apart around you, I mean, the guy's a human.
Exactly. And at least he owned up to it afterwards. That shows maturity. But it just adds to this whole narrative of the Ravens falling apart when the pressure's on, you know? Like, it wasn't just the team that cracked under pressure. Even their star player had a moment where he lost his composure.
And meanwhile, Buffalo's they're executing perfectly when it matters most. Matt Prater kicks the game-winning field goal as time expires, and you've got to give them credit. Down 15 with 5 minutes to go on Sunday Night Football, most teams would pack it in, but they just kept fighting.
That's championship mentality right there. And you know what? This is exactly the kind of game that can define a season. For Buffalo, this could be the moment they look back on and say, this is when we knew we could beat anybody, overcome anything. For Baltimore, this might hunt them for a while.
Oh, it's definitely going to haunt them. Like, you can't blow leads like this, especially not in primetime. And the worst part is they had all the pieces working. The offense was humming, they were running the ball effectively, the passing game was clicking, but when it came down to execution and crunch time, they just couldn't get it done.
And let's talk about the defense for a second, because yikes. I mean, they gave up 16 points in like 4.5 minutes. The analysts were talking about coverage lapses, weak pass rush, just fundamental breakdowns when they needed to step up most. That's on coaching, that's on preparation, that's on execution.
It's on everything, really. Like, there were penalty issues too, just a complete meltdown. And you know what's frustrating? This Ravens team has so much talent. Lamar's playing at an MVP level. Henry looks like he's turned back the clock. The receivers are making plays. But talent only gets you so far if you can't close games.
That's the thing that kills me about this loss. On paper, Baltimore should have won this game going away. They outplayed Buffalo for most of the night, but football is not played on paper. And when you give a team like the Bills an opening, they're going to take it. Josh Allen and that offense, they're scary when they get rolling.
Absolutely. And look, credit where credit's due, Buffalo made the plays they needed to make. But from Baltimore's perspective, this is the kind of loss that can derail a season if you let it get in your head. They've got to learn from this and move on because dwelling on it isn't going to help anybody.
The question is, can they learn from it? I mean, this is the 8th time under Harbaugh they've blown a game they should have won. At some point, you have to wonder if this is just who they are. A team that plays great until the pressure's on and then they don't.
That's harsh, but I mean, the numbers don't lie, right? You can't keep having these kinds of collapses and expect to compete for championships. Something's got to change, whether it's the coaching philosophy, the play calling in crunch time, or just the mental approach to closing out games.
And you know what's wild is if they just run the ball with Henry a couple more times, burn some clock, maybe don't turn the ball over, we're not even having this conversation. They win going away, and everybody's talking about what a great balanced offense they have. Instead, we're here talking about another epic collapse.
That's football for you, though, right? The margins are so thin at this level. One fumble, one bad play call, one missed tackle, and suddenly you're on the wrong end of one of the craziest comebacks in recent memory. Buffalo's going to be riding this high for weeks.
Oh, absolutely. This is the kind of win that can galvanize a team, make them believe they can beat anybody, anywhere. And for a Bills team that's had their own issues with big games in the past, this could be huge for their confidence going forward.
Meanwhile, Baltimore's got to figure out how to prevent this from happening again because if they keep blowing leads like this, I don't know, man. You can't waste a season with Lamar and Henry playing like this. You just can't.
Exactly. This should have been a statement win for them, going on the road, Sunday night football, showing they can execute when it matters. Instead, it's just another question mark about whether they can get over the hump. It's got to be so frustrating for Ravens fans.
I can't even imagine. Like you're watching your team dominate for 55 minutes, thinking, finally, this is the year we put it all together, and then nope, same old story. That's gotta hurt.
But hey, it's early in the season. There's still time to learn from this, still time to figure out how to close games. The talent's there, the coaching staff is experienced. They just need to find that killer instinct when the game's on the line.
True, but at some point you have to stop making excuses and just execute, right? This isn't their first rodeo. They've been in these situations before, and they keep coming up short. That's concerning.
It is concerning. And you know what? Games like this are exactly why people say the regular season doesn't matter as much. Because when you get to the playoffs, this is the kind of pressure you're going to face every week. Can Baltimore handle that? Based on last Sunday, I'm not so sure.
Well said. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this episode of Did You See That Game? If you watched this Ravens-Bills game, you definitely saw something special. Just not in the way Baltimore fans are hoping. We'll be back next week to break down whatever craziness the NFL throws at us next. And you know what, Anthony? Let's talk about the bigger picture here for a second. This Ravens loss doesn't just hurt them in the standings. It potentially changes the entire AFC playoff race. Buffalo moves to, 9-2 now? While Baltimore drops to 8-4. That 2-game swing could be massive when it comes to seeding.
Absolutely, and that's what makes this loss so devastating. We're not just talking about one game here. We're talking about potentially missing out on the first-round bye, or worse, having to play wildcard weekend. When you look at how competitive the AFC is this year, every single game matters, and Baltimore just handed Buffalo a massive advantage.
And can we talk about Josh Allen for a minute? I mean, the way he managed that comeback was just masterful. 3 touchdown passes in the final 5 minutes. That's not luck. That's elite quarterback play when everything's on the line. The guy has really grown into this role as a clutch performer.
No, Allen was incredible. You know what really impressed me, though? His composure in the pocket during those final drives. Baltimore was sending pressure, the crowd was going crazy, and he just stood there and delivered strikes. That throw to Diggs with 2 minutes left, threading it between 3 defenders,
That's the kind of play that separates good quarterbacks from great ones.
Exactly. And you know what else stood out to me? Sean McDermott's timeout management in those final minutes. Most coaches would panic, but he kept his team calm, made smart decisions about when to use those timeouts, and his players responded. That's championship-level coaching right there.
Meanwhile, you have to wonder how this affects both teams psychologically. For Buffalo, this has to be a massive confidence boost. They know they can come back from anything now. But for Baltimore, man, this could be the kind of loss that gets in your head and affects how you play in close games the rest of the season.
That's such a good point, Anthony. And you know what's crazy? Lamar Jackson actually had a really good statistical game. Over 300 total yards, 3 touchdowns, and except for that one fumble, he was pretty much flawless. But because of how it ended, people are going to remember this as another example of him not being able to close out big games. That's so unfair, but that's the reality of playing quarterback.
The narrative around quarterbacks is brutal, isn't it? But if we're being honest, the defense has to shoulder a lot of the blame here, too. I mean, how do you give up 3 touchdown passes in 5 minutes? That secondary just completely fell apart. Stephon Diggs was running wide open. Gabriel Davis was making catches in traffic. It was like Baltimore forgot how to cover receivers when it mattered most.
And that's the thing about championship teams. They find ways to win games like this. Buffalo showed they have that killer instinct when the chips are down. Baltimore, well, they showed they're still the same team that finds ways to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. If you're a Ravens fan, that has to be terrifying going into the stretch run.
You know what really gets me? That third down conversion with like 3 minutes left where Baltimore had Buffalo in 3rd and long, and they let Allen scramble for the first down. I'm watching this thinking, you have to tackle him. This is the game right here. But nope, he slips away and extends the drive. Those are the kind of plays you absolutely cannot give up in that situation.
That play still makes me sick. And you know what the worst part is? This Baltimore team has all the pieces to make a deep playoff run, maybe even win a Super Bowl. They've got the MVP caliber quarterback, they've got the elite running back, the receivers are making plays, but if you can't close out games like this, none of that other stuff matters. Championships are won in moments exactly like that 4th quarter.
And here's what's really crazy. Before this game, a lot of people were putting Baltimore right up there with Kansas City and Buffalo as the top teams in the AFC. Now, I mean, they're still talented, but there's this question mark about whether they can be trusted in big moments. That's a reputation that's really hard to shake once you get labeled with it. Thanks for listening, everybody. Remember, in the NFL, no lead is safe and anything can happen. Don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, keep watching those games.
Nah, for real. Let's talk about it. Late night highlight plays on freeze frame, crossover so sick. Ankles need a cane, home runs crack, echo through the park. Hustle on the field, leaving rivals in the dark. Jerseys at the rafters, legends in the making. Scoreboard pressure, hearts beat breaking. Sideline chatter, debates run deep, but the grind don't stop. No time for sleep. Did you see that game?